Hello, welcome back. As we discussed yesterday, the first step was to implement some type of a door so that we can go between interiors and the exterior. And then after that, the equipment system. Now, I have just made a start on the equipment system, and I'm getting kind of tired, so I don't know how far I'm going to go, but I wanted to record the video now so that I could go over the work that I did earlier today. So let me show you first before I dive into how it works. We're going to quit, start a new game, and we can see the sun coming up, and we just have this cube here. And ideally, we're going to have to press E, but right now we can just walk straight in. And I put the sword in here because it's in here that I'm going to set up getting that sword to work. But let's save while we're in here and wait a bit. I think it's probably been enough time. Let's pop out again. Yeah, it's nighttime now. But let's load it back again and we'll run straight outside. Or we'll wait until just before the sun comes up. There. So I'm going to save here. I'm going to run inside and I'm going to run back outside. So as you can see, we can save and load inside here, no problem. We can save outside, no problem. And inside, it has its own lighting. Like right now, there's just some light here that we've added to see the lighting, because otherwise it would be pitch black in here if not for that single light. But outside, it has its own lighting, which is not affecting the inside, and the outside lighting will continue. Oh, I've broken it. Yes, I have broken it. So there is a little bit of tidying up to do with that, as you can see. It's not a perfect solution. It just seems to me that we just have to do it very quickly, and it sort of, yeah, it skips it. And then when we come outside, it's off again. So it's kind of flip-flopping, and I think sometimes if you do it really quickly, it'll flip-flop in the wrong way. But we can't appear to be repeating it, so... Oh, I wonder why. I wonder why. Very interesting. I mean, generally, it works most of the time. Maybe it'll always happen the second time. See, it seems to be okay. But as you saw, we were able to break it. And I don't want people to be able to break it. So I need to figure out what happened there and tidy that up a little bit. Because, yeah, this was a pretty quick, simple solution. Not the most ideal solution. However, I am happy to say that, because yeah, it just seems to be timing. If we just run straight through, then it like skips a step or something. So maybe we'll have to have a look at that. I think maybe if we have to press E, and then there'll be like a delay on it happening, and so it'll happen quickly, and we won't be able to kind of trip the thing so that it does something it's not supposed to do. Because yeah, we did it the first time. We just run straight in. There. Did we switch it off again? Yes. So if we run through it very, very quickly, seems like we can break it, which is not good. And my implementation is not good either. I'm going to try and explain what's going on. But yes, I have made a very basic sprite for the player, learning about flipbooks and state machines. You know, there needs to be different states for the weapon. You know, what we're doing with the weapon is what state the weapon is in. But let's stay focused. Let's just look at our level loader. So what do we have here? We have on component begin overlap for the exit trigger, and again on component begin overlap trigger enter. So that should really be, yeah, trigger enter, trigger exit. That's fine. So we get the BP light, and this is the bit that's going wrong, is we cast it to the BP light, and we set the BP light to inside. So on our BP timed light, we have a thing called set inside, and that's just a branch. Is it inside? If it is, turn it off. If it's not, turn it on. kind of like a flip-flop, but not exactly. And over here, event begin play, we update, we get the playback position, we set the recorded time. All of this stuff is normal, but we add this extra step here. So are we inside? If we're not inside, we will set the intensity to be the lerping light, which is the fading up and down light. But if we are inside, we'll just set the intensity to 0. So basically, the timer keeps running and it knows its position in the timer. And so the lerping light level is still changing, but it will only affect the lights if the is inside bool is false. Then it'll set the lights to be what the lerping coming up and down fading light is, because otherwise it'll just switch them off, basically set all the lights to 0. So that's how the light is working. And then we cast to the player and we get the player's camera and we get the teleport entrance. So we have a trigger enter and we have a teleport to the entrance, and we have the trigger for exiting and the teleport to exit point. So we get the world position of the teleport entrance and the world rotation of the teleport entrance. We get the player and we get the player's camera, and we set the player's location to be our world location for the entrance with teleporter, and we set the camera's rotation to be that of the world rotation of the teleport entrance. So that's how I can move the... But to be honest, I don't think this solution really worked. With the rotation of the camera, I couldn't really get it working. The only reason it appears to work on that one is because it's all aligned properly, so that when you go in the door, when you go into the next area, that door is facing the same direction that you would be facing if you went in the door. But like, I'll show you why I'm pretty sure it doesn't work, is what happens if I decide I want to go in backwards. You know, I can run through the door backwards, and again we will go through it backwards. So it looks consistent, it looks right, because you see this building is this way. And you know, if you were walking in and out of the door, it would kind of look like that. But you can see the camera is not being set to the... because this should always face here. So even if we're facing here, you know, ideally we can only press E when we're actually looking at the door, which would kind of force the player to look this way a bit. But anyway, I'm going to show you a little bit more of how this works, and then we'll wrap it up. So that happens, and then that happens. And that's basically it for this one. And then this is when you see that it's really quite a mess. Is that on the level loader we have the room, and so we go all the way up here and we have the house with its door. So this is the house and the door, and this is the exit teleporter, and then down here we have the interior with the exit trigger, the entrance teleporter, because when we go through the entrance, where do we teleport to? We teleport to the inside in front of the door, and we just have a light and a sword. And you see it's built into the level loader, so it's not really ideal. But this BP test room, this is its own component. And so I can build a level inside here as an actor. And the reason I was doing this, but I sort of switched it off because it wasn't totally working, but it's to do with that flip-flopping. So you know how we could go through and we could sort of break the light? It's kind of to do with that. And it's also to do with saving and loading. It's kind of more annoying to save and load. But what I'd like to be doing with this is have it so that this is not visible. And when we hit that trigger up there and get teleported over here, in that same moment it should be set to visible, so that it's kind of not taking up any room in the memory, it's not being loaded. But you know, we're going to keep everything real simple, and we're just going to push it as far as we can go and see. if it all breaks. But I'm pretty sure, because we have this tile, and on this tile we've added this door, so whenever we leave and come back, that tile will always have that door. Oh ho! So I got a lot to fix. That's the first time I've actually run away from the house. And yeah, okay, so it's only now when we're around the house that is inside is getting its correct setting. So yeah, you can see I got a lot to fix. Let's see if we can do that again. Yeah. So once that whole thing is unloaded, the lighting has broken. So I'm glad I went through it with you because I didn't really realize, you know, I was kind of just amused by the fact that I basically have it working. It looks really bad now because we're doing it so often. But yeah, I can't really figure that out, you know, what's happening there. So a lot of troubleshooting to do. But that's kind of why it's nice to share it this way with you guys, because you know, if I was editing these videos a lot, I could give you the impression that everything went really smoothly. And I thought it was all going really smoothly. But now I see there is definitely a little bit more tidying up to do. Because at least while we stay in here, we can save and load, and you know, we can save and load inside the room as well, which is wonderful. What was I saying? There's something else I wanted to mention. Oh, that's right. Just that the way I've done it this way, I feel like I could add another entrance trigger here, and I could put another exit trigger here, which means that we would be able to, because yesterday I was thinking about how I would solve this, and I thought we may only be able to have one entrance, and the dungeon will have to loop back and send us back to the entrance every time, because we can only have the one entrance and exit point. But now I'm like, no, we could easily just create a entrance on the other side if we wanted to. So I think once that lighting stuff is all tidied up, we'll be alright. I just got to figure out why unloading that, for whatever reason, sets our timed light to be not what it should be, basically. I don't know how to figure it out, so I'll have to have a play around, have a think. But it's good, you know, I was getting pretty tired just having a start with the equipment system, because it is its own thing. It's the whole weapon, you know. We have to make the weapon work, and then we have to have two ways of turning the weapon on and off, because we have is the weapon equipped, and we have is the weapon pulled out, because you know you can have the sword in your hand or you could put it away. And so right now we could have the weapon equipped but also have it put away, and so when we press F or something, we'll pull the sword out, and then when we click, we'll actually be, you know, going between different states. And as you can see, when I click, it's printing hello, because I'm trying to send a message to the sword to change its flip to do the attack. Like when I'm clicking, I should be attacking, basically. But to get that message across to the sword is not as straightforward as I was hoping it to be, but it really is in anything in life, I suppose. But that's why it's good to stay calm, look after your health, and yeah, I'm sure we can figure out what's going on. We'll figure this out. So I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow, and hopefully tomorrow I will have this all working consistently. I'll be able to show off, hey look, we can run over there and it's not breaking, and we can run in here as fast as we want and it's not breaking. I might just have to make it so we press E, because then it happens in a little bit more of a controlled manner, because I don't think I can recreate the problem if I walk in and out really slowly. But that is quite interesting. Now, you know, I wonder what it is, because it just seems to be a speed thing. Like the player gets teleported before it has time to know to do all the other things. So maybe even very quickly, let's do it together, because teamwork in our level loader Yeah, I'm going to stick it right here. We're going to put a delay of 0.1. So teeny tiny delay, and then we'll send the message to the player. And that is for the entrance, so we'll just put it in for the exit as well. But that's really interesting. I think it is. It's just this set inside. For whatever reason, when this all gets destroyed, we're going to our timed light and we're setting it to be is inside, but the default value is off. So I don't know why it doesn't just stay at the default value. But that's what I love about this game development is it is just a big puzzle. Lots of things to solve. Okay, we got an error we didn't see before. Oh. So the set inside, I don't know why we copy and pasted that. Obviously I was talking, I wasn't paying attention. So we put a delay here, not a set inside. But it's because I was thinking, like, why does that set inside get called when this gets destroyed? At least that's what I think it is, you know? So now there is a little bit of a like I can see a stutter because of that 0.1 second delay. But I'm imagining that we're going to press E and we're going to have a little loading screen because there's going to be various actors inside these rooms and they all need to get loaded up so we don't see any weird artifacts on them. But seems like fine now, you know, I could... Oh! No, oh I know, okay. So when I come out, I see it for a second. That 0.1 second, I can see the room getting lit up by the outside. But we don't hide that behind a level loading screen, so there's no problem with that. But yeah, I would say that at least that problem's fixed. Now we have the other problem, which is why is it doing this? You know, that's very strange. So I don't know if I can even think of what would cause that. Let's have a look. Because I know that these things, they have a construction script, but I'm not looking for that. I'm more looking for where do we keep our events? Yeah, we have the components, we have the tick, we have the begin overlap. But do we have like a on destroy or something? This is where I'm kind of fumbling. Bind of event to on destroy. Yeah. Okay, let's try that because I like doing it with you guys. It's quite fun. So on begin play. So when our level loader gets loaded, so when the city tile gets loaded, because the city tile contains the level loader. So bind event on destroy, and we're going to have to create custom event. We'll just call it restore light, so that we can just set that default value to be what it's supposed to be. Delegate is not compatible with delegate by reference. So maybe bind event on destroy. I don't know. This is because I'm just fumbling about. I'm not like looking stuff up. I'm just guessing. Maybe it's a sign on destroyed. There we go. That looks a bit better. And can we say self? The target is already self, so we'll just leave that blank. Yeah, no errors so far. So now we're just going to get set inside. Or rather cast to. I'm just thinking, you know, a lot of it's to do with this right here, because it's to do with the branch. It's sort of flip-flopping. So we're going to do a quick one real quick. See, this is what I mean. I'm getting really messy with my stuff. I'm just finding quick solutions for everything, and everything is getting messy. Set inside off. So permanently set it off. And then we're just going to go set is inside to be false. So when we run this, set inside will be false. And we're going to run this by casting to it over here. Cast to BP timed light. And we have a reference to it over here. But we only call that when we call that, so we're going to have to call it on begin play. I'm pretty sure. So on event begin play, get the timed light. Bind this event to undestroyed. So when this gets destroyed, this event will play. The undestroyed event will play, I believe. And the destroyed actor is the self, this thing that's getting destroyed. And then we're casting to the light that we found when we began playing. I wonder if we'll be able to. Set inside off. As BP timed light. So very quick fix, probably not going to work. If it doesn't, we can all laugh about it, and then I'll say goodbye. And I'll see if I can figure it out on my own. Oh. Hey! So yeah, talking about quick fixes, I was looking forward to showing off to you guys tomorrow, but look, we got it sorted today. Although we did it in a very kind of ugly, quick way. Yeah, see what I mean? Now that it gets destroyed, it is switching the light off. But when it gets switched to here, so very quickly, again, we're just going to go here. We're going to create another one inside of our thing, but instead of setting it to be off, we're going to set it to be, well, this one will delete because we're going to set it to be on. So we're going to go back to our timed light, and we're going to create a custom event set inside on, and that just does the opposite. Set inside, no, set is inside to be true. Compile that, save that, jump back over here, and then as BP timed light, what do we call it? Set inside on. And then bind event on destroyed, and when it's on destroyed, we'll set inside to be off. But now, you see, this is where I'm not thinking straight, because when we create it, we haven't gone inside yet. We only switch it on when we go inside. So that whole step there was meaningless. We could just copy and paste this right here and put it here, because we don't need another event. We can just run this event, because we want to make sure that the light, the set inside, stays off, except in the event that we actually, you know, get in it. But what's going on here? Oh, right, yeah, I'm going to plug that in. I do believe. Yes. Yeah. That's okay. You can tell I'm rushing a little bit, but that's alright. I'll calm down in a little while. So now we shall run away from the city, and we know that this is all fine so far. Here we are, all good. And now let's go back and see what happens. Yeah, see? Haven't fixed it yet. But also, I got a feeling I know what it is very quickly. Sorry guys, I know I should not keep these videos going for too long. But actually, it's not in here. It's actually in here. On component begin overlap. Event called when something starts to overlap this component, for example, the player. My suspicion is, well, let's just clarify it quickly, because if this is, I'm going to just make it smaller. If this is here, then it's not overlapping anything. And we'll jump up here. I wish it would just jump up there. I think there is a way to do that. I should learn how to do that, because this is not fun. Kicking and dragging to get so slowly crawling up to the top. And also it'll be faster if I make it unlit. That does make a difference. And so for this one, again, same thing. We'll make it smaller. And this is a total guess, you know. This is just me fumbling in the dark. Trigger enter, and so that's not going to be overlapping with anything now. Save, and who knows, we might end up with exactly the same thing happening. But let's start this way. We won't go in yet. We'll stay out here. Oh, see what I mean? You know, I created all those things, but you know, we might not have needed that, you know? We're not sure how much of that was important and how much of it was not. Because the triggers were always overlapping with something, and so the triggers were getting called. They weren't teleporting the player inside because it wasn't the player overlapping, so they couldn't do that. But what they could do was go and switch the lights on and off, because that's the first thing that happens. And so it got that far. But, hurrah! Let us celebrate. So, I'm going to save in here, run outside, load it back, and it's all working. And we can't break it, I don't think. This is something I'm thinking about. So, yesterday there was a deadline, and I missed the deadline. And what that was submitting the game to a event, basically, where people play the prototype and they try to break it. And so I thought it'd be really fun to give them something that they couldn't break. And so I'm very bothered when I find out that systems I have can break, but I'm so happy that I can share it with you guys and I can see that they break and that we can actually work together to solve that. So let's run away, let's go all the way down to the ocean and run back. Do a little lap of victory because we're so happy that the world is consistent. But hang on a second, what's that? This is very strange, isn't it? We appear to have two towns. And I cannot think of why, because I haven't actually touched that code. All I've done was fiddled a little bit with the noise values and things. I think. Yeah. So that's very bizarre. I'm just thinking about people breaking the game. Does that count? Yeah, if the terrain is appearing in places it's not supposed to, then I would say that that is it being broken. Yeah, I wonder why that is. That's very interesting. Let's see if it does it on the other sides. So this is when we come straight out of the building and we turn right. Yeah, this seems all fine to me. It comes to the city, it comes to the town, and then it ends. So 1 out of 4 is okay. Now we're going to turn right. And let's see what happens. Yep, that's all fine. That's all good to see. Something I did think about is because we're going from color, which is 255, like on the RGB, it gets translated into a linear color, and the only difference I can see there is instead of 255, it's 0.01, 0.02 up until 1. So 1 is 255. And when we first came out, I think we went that way. So is it this side that's broken? So am I feeling with the 255 versus the 1? Yeah, it was this one. Let's have a look at on the map. There we go. So we can see the issue. It's making like a little crosswalk kind of thing. But my thought is that some of these colors are so similar to each other that it might get confused about which type of thing to render for it. Because in that case, it should just be rendering another road, and it's this gray pixel at the very top of the road, which is our town. But I can't really see any change in the color unless what I did was, I think I might know what it is. Let's have a quick peek in our, it's inside the player, isn't it? It's in this big, rather messy structure down here. Is it down here? Yeah, here it is. So we have the first one, which is for new game, and the second one, which is for loading the game. What I want to see is over here. We have the water, we have the land, we have the corners, and the straits. So this is the coastline right here, these 12. And then we have the city here. And we have the road 1, road 1, road 2, road 2. Yeah, unless it's going to be up here, then that kind of confuses me. I thought maybe I'd accidentally put a town tile as one of the road tiles, so it was randomly generating that. But you know what? Let's see if we can recreate it, because that's how we solve problems, is that we see, is it, you know, recreatable or not. Sorry, I know this was supposed to be a victory lap because we solved the other problem very quickly together as a team, but then we ran into another problem, so yeah, we gotta sort that out. Or at least we'll just see if it's repeating itself. That's really all we're gonna do. We're not really gonna try and fix it because, like I said, I was getting pretty tired. You know, I should be implementing that sword right now, but I was tired, so I thought I'd make a video, talk to you guys about it, edit the video, post the video. And when I say edit, what I really mean is adjust the gain a bit so that my voice is a bit louder, a little bit clearer. And seems to be fine this time. So I think it might just be a problem that can be resolved with keeping that noise down, I think, but I don't know. I do not know, because it's very strange that it decided to do what it did. Because yeah, it generally seems to be okay. Maybe it was, but you know, we can see it. So all these dots inside the green that aren't the cross, which is the roads and the city, those are all going to be our, because you can see we have grey dots at the end of each road. We have the white dot, which is the city, and then the green, the red, the dark blue, and the light blue, which are the roads. And then we have all of those other dots. And so all of those other dots are getting rendered as these right now, but those are going to be our ruins, our fortresses, our caves. So it was very strange, wasn't it? And I can't really think of why. Well, that's kind of sad news. Like, it's easy when it's repeatable, because if it keeps happening, you can kind of dig into why it keeps happening. Like with that light, it was a bug, but it was a consistent bug. But this is a very inconsistent bug that only happens very occasionally. So trying to solve what exactly is the root cause of that, because it's not happening most of the time, and so the root cause is sort of disguised because everything seems to be perfectly fine. So I would say that's slightly disappointing, but also it's not going to ruin my sleep because, like I said, that was the first and only time that we've ever seen that happen. Also, sometimes the whole screen flashes black, and that does concern me, but also we're not going to be running at this lightning breakneck pace the whole time, you know. We'll be running a little bit fast when we get on a horse, but probably not this fast. This is just for testing purposes because we have to do what we're doing right now, which is run across the entire map as quickly as we can because we want to make sure that everything is loading in and out properly the way that it should, which very sadly it is not. So anyway, I think we should go back inside, take a little rest, and then I can come back. I think this is just a very thick section of the road. It almost looked like it was one of those towns because it gets quite thick, but anyway, it was wonderful to see you all again, to have a chat, talk about how things are going, and as you can see, yes, we are making progress. We got the thing that we wanted done, which is that we can now run inside of our house, very clean and neat. And also, when we save and load, it knows that that sword has already been picked up. So we're not loading the sword back anymore, and we can save inside the world. And that number there, that is the seed of the world. So we're always loading back the right seed so that we're not getting a completely different shaped world each time. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Bye bye.